Welcome everyone to another edition of How to Adult No Matter Your Age. I'm Denise O'Malley, the founder of You Define Wellness. And today what we're going to be talking about is getting laid off. And we gave you a little teaser of this last week. But, there's a lot of layoffs that are happening right now. And sometimes you just don't know what it is you're supposed to be doing. Your head might be spinning. You're frustrated. You're dejected, whatever it may be that you have going on. You might be elated, but you never know what's going to be going on. And so I have brought in an expert from the HR field. She herself has gotten laid off just recently, but she knows the tips and tricks and things that you need to be doing. And so joining me today is Valerie Smith, DTM. And I'm going to ask you right off the bat, what does DTM stand for?
So DTM is from Toastmasters. It's the highest honor. So it's Distinguished Toastmaster. So you have to do all these different things, even leadership tasks to be called DTM. So it's amazing.
I know, I did not realize that was the Toastmaster designation, but I know how difficult it is to get that level. So kudos to you. Congratulations. It means that you do a lot of public speaking. So you are in demand as a public speaker. But I want to read to you guys her bio because I think it's important. She is a speaker, leader, human resources advisor, design thinking practitioner, and a lifelong learner. I love that. She is also a subject matter expert about the future of work to help individuals and businesses by sharing upward trends found in research to apply action to the knowledge shared and to become a marketable talent and company in the future. What she enjoys most is growing within her strengths, leading others, and being that go-to person for up-to-date leadership knowledge. She is the change agent for the world to see. I love that, Valerie. So we know you're there. And I know that from having talked to you now a couple times in the past. So let's start first with layoffs and the feelings that they might be having. Sometimes we don't know what to say to someone who's been laid off, and just saying, oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't sound like enough. Or the one I hate the most is, oh, you'll get another job in no time.
Yes.
So what kinds of things can be said as an act of support?
Yeah, so as an act of support, you can let people know that it wasn't their fault in the first place of being laid off. To take one day at a time. I know sometimes, you have a lot of anxiety. The anxiety is high when you're laid off. And when someone tells you take one day at a time, you're like, what? I don't have a job. And so in this case here, you really want to be a support. And if you can be of any reach, if you have any network people that you can introduce these individuals to, if they see a position that they like, a company that they're interested in, just let them know to reach out to you. Yeah, I think those are really great things to do because I'm doing that right now and it's been a help.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's also really important to do is know what you're looking for, right?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I've asked people who've been fired or laid off or just returning back to the workforce, and they say, if you know of anybody who has a job, let me know. Okay, well, McDonald's is hiring. That's not what you want. So you need to be specific as to the skills you want to use. I'm assuming that's one of the good things, or maybe titles. Is that a good thing as well?
I mean, titles, another thing is that you want to know exactly what do you want? I mean, do you want a company is a large company, like a multinational? Do you want a mid-sized company you want to work for? Maybe small. What kind of values do you have? Is that company aligned with your values? Because you don't want to work with a company that's not in alignment with you. Is it a growth company? Are you looking to keep growing and progressing in your career? Is this company open to innovation? Because right now, with AI and technology, you want to be advancing in the future of work because things are changing in a it's very fast. And so you really want a company that knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you really want to look at all those different things. What are you looking for first
Mm-hmm.
before you do your job search?
Okay.
And then look for the companies that fit within your values.
Right. So they should get their resume updated, obviously. Do you recommend people work with someone who is a professional on writing resumes, or where do you lead people that way?
I would say, I mean, if you started your resume and you feel comfortable with it, use it. But if you feel like it could be more enhanced, I would say hire a professional resume writer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some good ones I know that I've connected with on Twitter. There's a very strong community of human resource professionals to support those who are in the job hunting phase. What about working with recruiters? What is your feeling or knowledge? Do you have any?
It depends on the recruiter, because I mean, there are some recruiting companies, they can be a little bit slowful where they're just looking for numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was my experience. I felt like I was just a number and they just had me in the file. Now, I'm not trying to badmouth any recruiters, but that's how I saw it in my last layoff. And I just found that network that I had, they had me in touch with the right recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get someone in your network, in LinkedIn or Twitter, like you said, and they can give you a warm recommendation and just an introduction, then you're with the right recruiter for the position that you're looking for.
You said something to me on the very first conversation that we had. This was before you got laid off. And you said that when somebody posts a job like on LinkedIn or somebody else, and it has the name of the hiring person or the recruiter or whoever it might be, you said you contact them.
Yes, most
Why
definitely.
and how? Because that would terrify me.
Yes, so you want to contact them for an informational interview.
Okay.
It's the best thing in the world, because what happens with those information interviews, not only are you going to know what that job is about, the either it's the hiring manager or it's the recruiter, they're getting to know you as well. If they feel like you're a great fit for this role, they'll say apply for it. And if you already applied for it, then they're just going to push you on to the next person to speak to. So these are really great connections. When you see that person's name there, it's going to help them out as well, because one, you're showing interest in the position. You want to know more about the role. And then if the individual wants to get to know you even more, that's when they're going to push you through.
Okay, we have a question in the chat box from one of our guests here that's with us live, and it says, what do you say, and I'm going to say specifically, to the hiring manager when you do contact them?
Yeah, you just say, hi, I have an interest in this position. I would like to know if you have at least 20 minutes, if I can have at least 20 minutes of your time, where we can go over this role in details because of your interests. And then you just wait for them to contact you back, and then they'll set up some time if they have the time.
I think that's a really good idea, is to make this contact. I want to spend a little bit more time on this because I think it's a really important thing. I think it's a really great leg up for everyone who is looking for jobs right now, is to make this phone call, because there's some things that I've learned from being connected to recruiters and those who write job postings, is that you might be looking at the job posting, you think, this really sounds great, but I'm not certain I really have all the qualifications. And what I hear from these recruiters and hiring managers is apply anyways, because they put their wish list out there. They aren't assuming that they're going to find a candidate who fits everything in it, right? Exactly. So you want to make sure that you are taking that leap. But then you can also find that out when you're in an interview with them, is to find out, okay, what are the key characteristics that you are of this list of to-dos, and are you willing to provide training on because I can do this really, really well, but I'm not so skilled in this, but I'm willing to learn.
Exactly. And that's the reason why you want to have an information interview, because there are talent out there. If they see that there are certain things on that list, they will bypass it. So they will have to be proactive to reach out to these individuals. If their name is not on the job description, but you see someone that's in your network, you can contact them and say, hey, I'm interested in this position. Do you know anyone that's in HR that you can give me an introduction?
Absolutely. That's the beauty of LinkedIn. And you know, that's what the whole purpose is. You want to use that network. You want to build that network. But you know, there's another reason for all of this as well, is I frequently peruse the job boards on LinkedIn, basically to find out what's going on in certain industries. And I remember seeing this one position, and it had 924 applicants. Okay, so that's going to scare people off. But if you have reached out to the person doing the hiring, that gets your resume up a little bit higher, because you have a really good conversation with them and think through what you're, you know, have some very solid questions you're going to ask, you're going to go up higher in that. So you're not so overwhelmed when you see there's 924 people. Okay, here's another one. We've all kinds of chatting going on. So it says, I was laid off in November. I've interviewed extensively, including up to 10 interviews for one job. 5 times I've been the top 2 candidates and have not been chosen. What tips do you have for someone like that?
You know what? It depends on the position. I'm being honest. If I'm getting to number 7, those are questions, even 5, I'm being honest, because when it gets to 5, I really want to know, how high are we going? Because I mean, time is valuable. That's why there is an article where they're stating that how far can an employer go to interview a candidate, and when should they be giving them a salary? I mean, right then and there, they should pay them for their time.
No, unpaid consulting is going on at that point.
Yeah, because I think 10 is overrated. I'm being honest, unless you're going for a CEO position or something like that, and then they have all these assessments. But I think you should start asking questions when you get to the 5th interview. I really do, because I've had, let's see, 1, 2, I had 5 interviews at my previous position, and then they had it at that cutoff of 5 interviews, because they want to make sure you're a great fit. But when we get into number 10, I don't know, that kind of give me like a red flag about the corporation, because immediately, if I'm looking at your resume and you're interviewing well, you pass all the assessments, I don't see an interview going past 5. I don't see it. Even if it's a person that's in senior management, I can see it going to 7. But anything past 7 is a red flag for me.
And I think that's a very good point. I also would like to, for the person who asked this question, I want to throw out some personal experience that before I launched my company, You Define Wellness, and I launched it over 7 years ago. I was trying to decide what I wanted. I was applying for the jobs out there, and 3 times I was the candidate of choice. And 3 times, as they were preparing the offer letter to me, and I happen to know it for a fact, the perfect resume landed on their desk, and I lost the jobs. And I'm going to admit, I cried. It was devastating to me, because I didn't know what I was going to be doing. And I now look back at it as the universe saving me from myself, because I would have hated that job. Any one of those 3 jobs, I would have hated it. But I was looking at, hey, I needed a job. I needed to pay the bills. And it was just a very short time later that I launched what has been the biggest blessing of my life, which is You Define Wellness. So just have hope and faith that there are maybe things going on that you just aren't aware.
Do you have your story, Denise, written somewhere, like on a like that? Do you have that journey documented anywhere to be listened to or read?
I don't know. I do not know. Thank you for asking that question. I'm more than happy to record it and put it out there. But I just did.
Yeah, because I just wonder how you managed to go from applying for jobs to launching your business and being successful, and how long did it take, and
Yeah.
how did you do the transition
Yeah.
with paying bills, and
Yeah, I will, if you put your email address in the chat box, I will be more than happy to follow up with you. And I do have parts of it written, but I don't have the whole thing. So you're inspiring me to do that. So thank you for asking that question. I will get
there you
back.
go. There's my email. Please
Okay.
follow up. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Awesome. Thank you for that. We have another question in the chat box. What if you see jobs that have been posted for 30 days or more? Is there a reason to not apply? Is it due to a hiring freeze or some concerning issue?
Well, you know what? They just haven't found the right talent and they're still interviewing. I did learn that a lot of candidates are interviewing for this position, but they're just not fitting the actual position. So they're just keeping it going. I say one thing that I always say to individuals, if you see that is a job that you want to apply for, put a cover letter with it. Explain why you are applying for that position. If you're passionate about a certain role, send that hiring manager that letter and put that energy in it. And because they look for those cover letters. I actually had a recruiter say that. They said it's not enough resumes with cover letters.
So that's a really good point as well. I think in light of technology, cover letters have kind of, they're almost an afterthought, and you think, then nobody's going to read it anyways. I could put BS in it, and
Right.
But they really are reading them, and it gives a greater insight to the individual's personality than just the resume itself, which is, facts and data and things like that.
Exactly.
Okay. So put why you're interested in the job, what you can bring to the organization. Absolutely. Okay. Wow. I'm loving these questions that we're getting from the field, and I've gotten distracted as to where we were going to be going with this whole thing.
Right.
One of the things that we had talked about a week ago was, 3 things that the person interviewing or a job searching should know about. And one of the things that you had talked about on those 3 things, and you'll have to refresh my memory what 2 of them are, but I know one of them was your own self-care during this time.
Yes. Yeah, self-care is very important because one, you can get burned out looking for a job.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that you prioritize your health, making sure you're eating right. And to be frank, you must have a calendar. You have to have a calendar so you can put in time for yourself, lunch, even breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. When do you stop job searching so you can have a little bit of time for yourself? Go walking, call up a friend, go for a lunch, have a Starbucks. Have that moment, because you will get calls while you're having your moment. And I had gotten a call for a phone interview, and the individual said, "Are you available?" I said, "Well, I'm at Starbucks." And I love what the recruiter said. She said, "You know what? Have your Starbucks moments, and I'll contact you via email, and you let me know what time is good for you." And I thought that was great.
Wow.
Because they recognize that individuals are out there looking for work, but they do need that time and space to think. And I'm not gonna lie to you I'm ready for a massage. I'm not gonna lie to you.
If you were here local, I'd introduce you to my husband. He's a massage therapist. But yeah, you know what? Get that massage.
Get that massage. You deserve it.
Yeah, there's some interesting things that take place when you do this for self-care, when you step away from it. A phenomena that I've noticed that happens with me, and I can't believe I'm the only person that this happens to. But when you do those moments of self-care, number one, you come back refreshed, right? And you can handle it again. But so much, it's like, okay, I just really believe in things happening in the universe, folks, guys. It's like something shifts, and then you have a voicemail, or you have an email, or you have something that proactive has happened. Stop and meditate for 10 minutes. Nobody's gonna, not hire you because you took 10 minutes to meditate and you come back and there's a voicemail for you. So, doing those things for yourself it can facilitate the movement of positive energy within you and around you. So try to do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
What were some of the other things that you were recommending for somebody who's out looking? We've talked about a lot of different things here.
Yeah, I know that a lot of individuals do forget to take care of business. There's always a business after you get laid off. I always say file for your unemployment. You definitely need to do that because there are some people right now who have not filed because they think that their friend is going to get them a job, hook them up. But I would say, please file for your unemployment, apply for your SNAP and your Medicaid benefits. You will need that. It's going to help you save money on food. You don't have to pay co-pays. I'm not going to say nothing about co-pays because anything can change. Then there's also what we call the WIOA grant for dislocated workers. And what that stands for is Workers Innovative and Opportunity Act. It's a one-time $8,000 grant. You will have to go wherever you are in your state, you will have to look up WIOA, and then it'll tell you exactly what locations you can go to. You have to get a caseworker, and just like any grant letter, there is a package that you have to fill out, and it'll take about 10 minutes to go through that whole thing, but I'm gonna put it in the chat so you can have this information. Because
I've never heard of this before. This is great.
Yeah, I used mine in 2014.
Okay.
And I got a chance to get a Lean Six Sigma green belt certification. I learned InDesign. I learned how to do Articulate, to do e-learning, put e-learning courses together. And it's just amazing what you can do with this grant for laid off workers. So it's very important to take advantage. And there's also organizations, if you're going for that grant, you know, if you live in the city, where I was getting CTA passes for free. So it depends on where you're at, what agency you're at. You want to ask for all those benefits that they have for dislocated workers.
Okay. That's worth the price of admission right there, folks.
Yes.
That's awesome. Awesome. So I want to do a little housekeeping real quick, just so those in the studio audience with me, just so you know, I'm going to be going into the last question for Valerie, but here's the benefit of you being with us live is that when I turn off the recordings, you get to ask any questions you have directly of Valerie. We can have an open conversation, a little networking that is going on. So don't leave me when it sounds like I'm turning off the recording, okay? So Valerie, we're gonna go into the last question here. And I know there's so much more that you have to share, but these are quick 15 to 20 minute interviews that we're doing. So what, when you were thinking about talking with me today, what have we not covered that you wanted to make sure that you mentioned? This is your opportunity to plug that.
It is goal setting. I really want to touch on that. Your time is very, very important. Always big on time management. Make sure, again, have a calendar. I have the one where you write in it. I have to see it. Now, if you're good with Google Calendar, that's fine. But you want to make sure that on Sunday over the weekend, you look at what did you do prior to your Sunday, and then also what do you want to do that whole week. Me personally, I'm being honest, I still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm still going to the gym, and I'm still going to this office that I'm here because there's times where I have to speak to people. I at least speak to one person each day. That's my networking opportunity. I even put my lunch and my dinner down. I have a certain time where I stop job searching because you can't do that all day. It's a full-time job. So you can put down 2 hours a day or maybe an hour a day. At least you apply for at least 2 or 3 jobs. Don't try to do 20. It's going to be tiresome.
Mhm.
And like I said, network, network, network. And it will cut down your job search in half
Mhm.
because you're meeting with the key people, and you never know where that communication is gonna take you. And in my last 2 jobs, it was all about the network. And that's how I got in.
Wow, that's awesome. I want to share a screen with everyone at this time. And hopefully you can see this is Valerie's LinkedIn screen. Reach out to her. I'm just showing it there so you can see it. It's her handle on LinkedIn is Valerie Smith on leadership, and reach out to her. She does coaching. If you are looking for a job and you're looking for some help and you like the advice that she's been giving everyone so far, reach out to her on LinkedIn, connect with her. There's that networking going on, but also feel free to talk to her about any coaching and what type of coaching that she does as well. So with that being said, Valerie, thank you so much. We could be talking for a whole hour, but that's the benefit of being in our live studio audience. They get you if they want to. But I appreciate you being with me here today. I wish you luck in whatever it is that you're doing. I know our paths are going to continue to cross because we got something that we've been talking about doing next month, as a matter of fact.
Yes,
so we're excited about that as well. And so for all of you who are watching this, whether you're watching us on Facebook Live or on a recording, thank you for joining us. Go to our website at youdefinewellness.com. That's YOU definewellness.com. Hit our calendar and see some of the things that we have coming up. We're a little catching up on stuff on our calendar right now, but we've got a whole bunch of stuff out there for you to support you in your wellness journey and all 8 dimensions of well-being, including job searching. So with that being said, we hope to see you on another edition of How to Adult, no matter your age. Thanks.
Thank you.
With us.